Hi, Jen here from Jen Michelle Coaching, and today I want to talk about three things a woman can do to save her relationship. Now more than ever, I'm getting more clients and visitors just contacting me about what they can do to save their relationship because they feel like it has just reached this breaking point and they want to know ways that they can really start changing the direction immediately before it escalates any further. So if you're going through anything like this where you feel like you're one argument away from the relationship ending, I want to talk about three things you can do to start changing the directions of things and start inspiring healing and connection again, whether it's with your husband, a boyfriend, or just someone that you've been seeing for a while. So, number one, developing your emotional intelligence. This is critical because so often conflict is a result of not knowing what it is we're feeling and how to put it into words. And so we end up turning it into the blame game. We start, just telling the other person that you're not meeting my needs, or you're doing this or you're doing that, and it becomes just this tit for tat, accusatory situation where you end up, on opposite sides of the room, just completely disconnected and feeling like things are going to end in any given moment. So in order to get some control again over the situation, it's really critical to slow yourself down and start developing emotional intelligence. And what I mean by that is checking in with yourself. What is it that I'm feeling right now? And you'll notice if you're really angry, okay, I'm angry. What's underneath the anger? Just going a little bit deeper. What was the anger triggered by? Did feelings of shame show up? Do you feel embarrassed? Do you feel unimportant? What kind of emotions are showing up within you that has caused this really elevated response? And so, as a woman is able to develop her emotional intelligence by saying what she's feeling when she's feeling it in real time, this has the ability to completely transform her love life and her relationship outcome. So, what once felt just completely like a power struggle goes into feeling, I can hear that. I'm curious. I want to hear more. Those walls start to come down because it starts to feel steady and even, because a man can tell when he's talking with a woman who knows herself and who isn't going to, lash out or lose control over herself. And he can sense that emotional safety to become curious enough to understand her emotional experience and take a look at his own actions and reflect on how that could be contributing to some of the issues that are coming up within the relationship. Number two, stop reacting out of habit. This is really critical because we likely have some habits that we've built up. If things have been, challenging for a little while, we probably have some habits and reactions that we just immediately go to when things feel tense or when we feel hurt or we feel unimportant. Anything can trigger it. So when that happens, we want to start to check in with ourselves and bite our tongue. Biting our tongue is huge in this work because as a woman learns to just bite her tongue and notice the reactive habit and notice if it's going to serve her or not, she has the opportunity to then self-adjust. She's no longer demanding. She's no longer telling him what he did was wrong. She's no longer making her point. She's just taking care of herself and choosing just to not go the same way. Sometimes the lesson can be in saying nothing. And an example of that would be if, we'll go into boundaries on number three, but teaching more through our actions, less through our words, meaning that sometimes we don't always have to say it. And if we just practice honoring ourselves and taking care of who we are, then the lesson is often more powerfully conveyed by doing just that, by then, instead of just sort of giving into some of those old habitual ways and patterns that are deeply ingrained in us. So how can you catch some of those and just go a different direction? It's really just not worth it at the end of the day if you want to save the relationship. Number three, setting healthy boundaries. This is key. At the end of the day, if we have to teach people how to treat us. So if we just expect him to understand our boundaries or to just do the right thing, we're going to be severely disappointed. We have to teach people how to treat us by understanding what feels okay within us and making sure that we honor it. So that means if a man calls at 11 o'clock at night or something, are you going to, say to him, oh, okay, I can talk for, a short while before I go to bed, knowing that that doesn't feel right to you? Or let him experience the natural consequence of just not answering your phone. Notice that the latter is a very clear boundary, but you didn't react out of fear. You didn't do anything you didn't want to do. You didn't make a thing out of it. He just got to experience that naturally by you taking care of yourself with no explanation needed, no drama, and then he gets to adjust accordingly. And I want to give one more example on this. Let's say you're in a dating situation and he asks you to or your husband or boyfriend, it can be anybody. Let's say they ask you to do something Thursday night for Friday. Well, if you're a planner and you've already made tentative plans for Friday, or you're not comfortable getting a sort of last minute request, the natural consequence of that would be, I can't, right? Like no long explanation needed versus shifting your plans to accommodate and then not feeling good about it, or saying you should have called me sooner, you didn't do it right. Just letting that boundary be communicated in a very natural, peaceful way. And if he cares about you, he's going to pick up on it and adjust accordingly. So these are some ways that a woman can start changing her energy because she's showing that she's a high value woman who knows how to take care of herself without any drama or, tit for tat power struggle dynamics infused within it. She's just simply honoring herself, and she's leaving the door open to see if he wants to be a part of it or not. And so as you practice this, you will start to see changes in the relationship and see him come closer. And so if you could use additional information on how to save your relationship, I've got lots of blogs on this on my site at jenmichellecoaching.com, and you can download my complimentary guide there, Magnetic Sensitivity, on ways you can enhance and inspire more love in any stage of a relationship.